Hello there, my name's Taylor Wheeler. I'm a professional web designer from sunny Swindon, England, and I also now make software. I've helped the company get to 2 million a year organic leads through Google, building websites, and I've now saved a financial advisory firm 35 hours a week. It's 25k a year on admin costs, and the software is being used daily, which is really, really cool. So with that out of the way, I wanted to talk about something I'm kind of witnessing going on, and it's to do with OpenAI, their massive spending, the bubble, everything that we've kind of witnessed over this last few years, which has been really cool, all right? This new tech that's come along and kind of revolutionized a lot of things. It's really, given us a tap, like a turn on a tap, right, of intelligence. And that allows us to, at will, get something. We can really find something quickly. Like Google was obviously the first iteration of that, but completely crowdsourced in a way, right? Everyone's putting their information online and then eventually selling things, and we could hyper search at any time. And then we have the chat interfaces where we can now ask a question, rely on a model's pre-trainedness, right, its weights to extract information or predict the next token. And then we've got agentic systems where we can start to ask it, find it first in the chat interface to use tools, to web search, to deep research is like one of the things we saw. And then we have things like Manus, and now we have like these integrated web app systems that can do multiple things. Or then we get to things like Claude Code and Codex, fully agentic systems, which I'm just telling you now, if you don't use them, you should, because they are the most powerful iteration of LLMs. And then you go on to Open Code, and it's like, well, now I don't have to pay lots of money to be able to do this. You can actually do it locally on the machine, albeit slower. You can still do these things. Now, what does that mean in the terms of the bubble, right? That's just the whole how the things materialized as a product, as a tool. Now, what does that mean for the bubble? Well, you're obviously hearing mutterings of OpenAI having massive spending goals, but they're not making the sort of money they're spending. And where is this money coming from? Well, it's coming from investors. And apparently their current investors aren't willing to give them more money, and they're trying to find more money. And why? Well, data centers, providing inference. This is all very costly. Why is it costly? GPUs, soon to be probably TPUs, as proven by Google, and energy, right? Get this one. I heard the other day that one ChatGPT-5 medium response costs 18 watt hours. So some text, you're talking like a small rechargeable battery for your phone, external, it costs that much in one response. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a lot to me, right? Does that sound like a lot? That sounds like a lot for a bit of slop, doesn't it? And I think that's inherently the problem, right? This stuff is expensive to do at scale. That's not good. We could use that energy elsewhere, right? I don't really know what I'm talking about, but that sounds like a lot of energy. Anyway, they seem to be on a path towards, they're spending too much money and not making enough. Like, realistically, as a consumer, large market, going to be spending on these tools. I want to bake a cake. I want to find out, how to plan my trip. This stuff is all really cool and great, but is it going to surmount the revenue that they're spending? Most likely not. And so then you look across the board, you got people like me, right? What am I? I was a no-code web designer for many years, built everything with my hands, did videos, did absolutely anything under the sun, tech-wise, I could do for clients, because it made me money, right? People just couldn't be asked to do it themselves. And then if I come along and say, hey, I know a guy that can do this, right? And it's me, I'd get the money. Now, what happened when coding agents came along? Well, firstly, LLMs as a whole was great, and it completely revolutionized my business because it could write the copy, it could do like the planning, it could do a lot of things for me because I worked in that domain. But then you got coding agents. And I think when I was looking at the revenues, there's this graph, and it's like Anthropic is just kind of like, all right, coming along, ChatGPTs and, Gemini's and that, and they're like rocketing along. But you see in this, this is, I don't know if this was specific to enterprise cost, right? But enterprise initially as a product for ChatGPT was Teams, was just like, oh, you can log in and everyone can use ChatGPT, great, well, that's sweet. But then Claude Code, you're seeing this, and you're seeing this down in revenue. And what's that proving? Well, it's proving that these agentic tools that have access to files, can write code, can do basically anything, long-form automated tasks are actually where the cheddar's at. Why? Wow. For someone like me, I've now fully made the transition from doing it with my hands to doing that. Why? Can we talk about it? It's because I'm lazy, right? I think we're all lazy monkeys. Like, that's what we've got to remember. Now, I'm not saying you're a lazy monkey. I'm not saying your mate's a lazy monkey. But, like, there's a part of my brain that goes, right, well, when I've got a tool that can do it for me, why would I do it myself? And then the incredible part about it is I'm not losing quality. I've just got a website to rank number 1 within 2 months using agentic coding tools. Well, I couldn't do that before, right? So not only is it like appeasing to my lazy monkeyness, but it's doing quality work if you know what you're doing. And I think a massive part of that is steering the thing, like understanding how to steer. Quick little plug, if you want to learn how to steer the thing and basically do no work, I will teach you. There'll be a link in the description. Anyway, that's where we're going. That's where the money's being spent. And a bird has shat on my car. Anyway, that's where the money's being spent. And yeah, look at that. That's actually criminal. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. That's actually criminal. The money's being spent on data centers, and we do need inference, but it's not for chat. It's for agents. It is for coding, right? Coding is where it's going to be. And I'll just give you a reason why. I don't know. Like, everyone says, everyone, right? Developers. I hear developers say, not now, they're coming round, but it's because we're having that thing happen where it's first, it's violently opposed, secondly, it's ridiculed, and thirdly, it becomes the status quo. And guess what Mr. Funny web designer over here has been doing? Well, I do it when it's been violently opposed, right? Everyone's saying, like, you know, the code's not good enough, you'd never use this in production, like all this stuff, right? But I've gone and built a product on my own with consulting knowledge. Okay, so what do you need? What are your problems? Like, how can I fix them? Record the conversations, get the data, create a product, test it, get it in there. And it's worked. It has absolutely worked. That wouldn't have been possible before. I would have never been able to do that. And do you see me letting go of that? Not paying for it anymore? No, because I make money with it. All right, I'm making money with the tool. It's doing the same job as I did before, faster, better, and also allowing me to scale without hiring, right? I can now do the work of 10 people, and that's just how it is, guys. It's crazy. But, okay, let's cap off. I'll give you 2 more minutes, right? The bubble. As long as OpenAI are focused on chat, they're going to fail. Now, what's the indicator? Codex. Codex is the indicator. They've woken up. But are they late to the party? Yes. Why? Claude Code is far superior. Far, far superior. And this is where vibe comes in. Claude is more expensive, but they've just got something in that it follows commands well. It's quick. It's easy to work with. Codex, after time I don't know, Codex just feels like 60% of what Claude Code is. Does that mean I don't use it? No, I definitely use it. And there's definitely times to use it. But who's going to use those coding tools? Well, developers. And are developers mass market? No. So there's money to be had. And I think the businesses that use these things as a core part of their business is what's going to fund AI. But, you know, that's going to take time to grow. Like, I'm only me now. Like, I'm only one guy. I'm only just growing, right? And I'm sure there's loads of other founders doing this. When they crescendo, we're going to have a proper marketplace. But until then, the people that built on this vision of AGI are going to struggle. And therefore, I think OpenAI will. So there you go. Thank you for listening. Until next time. Ta-ra.